Hi, I'm Marshall Crosley. This is Real World Pediatrics. And today I wanted to talk again about vaccines and autism. So, why do parents persist in believing that there is a connection between vaccines and autism? Principally because they need to believe in something. Now, there have been numerous studies demonstrating the lack of connectivity between vaccines and autism, but it doesn't seem to matter to the parents of those afflicted. Now, why is that? Well, principally because the mind has a difficult time accepting a null or blank value to a question. The mind needs to know and have certainty. Now, the true answer is that we don't precisely know why autism comes about. We just don't know. Now, it'd be nice if we did, but we don't know. Now, there have been many theories put forward as to why autism could be coming about, but there are no certain ones. Now, maybe in 100 or 200 years, we will know much more than we know today, but unfortunately, today is not that day. And many parents, unfortunately, cannot accept the reality of this. They need to know something, anything. And that's where the con man comes in. The con man exists in order to fulfill the need. He comes on stage with his tapes, his pamphlets, his books, his certainty. And what he offers is a magic talisman. This is the magic talisman that will solve the problem. And with that, parents believe that the con man will also provide the magical cure so that their child can be normal again. You see, every parent understandably wants their child to maximize their potential in time and space. They want their child to have what they could not achieve. They want their child to be greater than they were. Now, this drive is so powerful that it often overrides reason. And this helps explain why so many parents choose to believe that there is some link between vaccines and autism. Yet, why should parents be so certain about this linkage? There are 1,000,001 things out there that children are exposed to. What is it about vaccines that make parents certain that it must be vaccines that are the culprit? Why isn't it any of the processed industrial foods that children eat? Why isn't it any of the chemicals in the environment that children and parents may be exposed to? Why are vaccines picked upon? Is it because they are injected into the body by a needle? Or is it because they are a convenient whipping post? What about the other various medicines that may be injected into children in the emergency room or in the hospital when children are admitted? Why aren't any of those singled out? The truth behind autism at this point is that we don't precisely know why some children become autistic. We can only guess. Our best guess, when we pull everything together, is that there are developmental changes in the brain structure at the cellular level that enable abnormal connectivity between different parts of the brain. Now, these developmental changes are brought about by an impact of environmental factors, that's the stuff around us, upon the genes that we inherit from our parents. In other words, stuff from the environment is impacting our genes in order to produce or to stop production of proteins which are affecting the structure of our brain cells and the way that they interact with other brain cells. Now, that's it in a nutshell. Now, that may be difficult for parents to accept. It is difficult because the first thing a parent of an autistic child thinks is, oh my gosh, did I do something to my child? Was it my genetics? Was it something I ate? Was it something that we brought into the house? Now, no parent wants to accept that possibility. That's like telling the World War II generation that FDR allowed the Japanese to strike Pearl Harbor so that he could start World War II. That's a non-starter. You're not going to get anywhere with that. As we used to say back in the 80s, that dog won't hunt. And the con man and the huckster with his pots, his pans, his liniments, and his little pills. The con man sells simplicity. It's the vaccines. Of course, it's the vaccines. Now, with that solution, we not only get to blame something else, We get to put all the blame on the federal government for making us get these vaccines. It's beautiful. It's a perfect solution. The problem is that there's no evidence to back it up. None, not a shred. The gurus have studied the connection between vaccines and autism up and down the block and twice on Sunday. There's nothing there. That's the reality. Thank you. Okay, in the future, I'm going to go over aspects of Robert Kennedy and Brian Hooker's book, Vax Unvax, Let the Science Speak. I always worry when people invoke science, especially if they're not scientists or have no grounding in the sciences.